This is the Gotrax R1 20-inch folding electric bike. When I first saw it, I was actually surprised by how small and lightweight it is when folded up, especially compared to some clunky e-bikes I've tried before. It's a really practical design, and if you're like me and you don't have a ton of storage space, or you want something you can toss in the back of your car, this one already ticks those boxes for portability. The folding mechanism is super straightforward, so you don't need any serious strength, just a quick fold at the main frame and handlebars, and you've basically got a bike that can fit in most car trunks or behind a seat. What really got my attention the first time I picked up the R1 is how light it feels. Officially, it's about 45 pounds. That might sound like a lot if you're used to regular bikes, but for an electric bike, that's seriously light. I've tried plenty of 26-inch e-bikes that weigh over 70 pounds. They're not easy to move around or put into a car by yourself. This one feels like a breath of fresh air, especially for anyone who doesn't want to deal with heavy lifting. I know not everyone has a garage or a place to keep a big bike, so the ability to just grab it and take it wherever you want is a big plus in my book. Let's talk about the ride. The Gotrax R1 uses a 350-watt brushless motor, which peaks at 500 watts. In simple terms, that means it's got decent power for city streets and lighter hills, but you shouldn't expect it to climb super steep off-road trails. Most people, including myself, are using it for commuting, campus rides, or zipping around the neighborhood, and for those, the power feels just right. The bike can hit speeds up to 20 miles per hour using the pedal assist or throttle, which is pretty standard for e-bikes like this. Pedal assist means you start pedaling, and the motor helps you go faster with less effort. You can change the amount of help you're getting by choosing from 5 different assist levels, using simple plus and minus buttons by your thumb, all shown clearly on a big, colorful LCD display. The screen itself is easy to see in sunlight, and it tells you everything you need. Current speed, battery life, trip distance, it's all right there. Starting up the system is just a matter of holding a button, which is super straightforward. I found the controls intuitive, even if you've never used an e-bike before. For me, it was important that I didn't have to mess around with confusing menus or settings while riding. Riding comfort is another thing I pay close attention to during my first few trips. Both the handlebars and seat are highly adjustable. I'm just under 6 feet tall, but my friend who's a bit shorter found it easy to set up for her size as well. The tires are 20 inches, making the whole bike more compact and easier to control, but they're also a little wider at 2.25 inches, which means you get more stability and cushioning over bumpy streets or park trails. The R1 uses rigid suspension, which means there's no shock absorption in the front fork or the seat post. If you mainly ride on streets, paved paths, or smooth trails, you probably won't notice. You'll still get a reasonably smooth ride. Now on to range. Gotrax claims up to 40 miles per charge if you use low pedal assist, and in my experience, those numbers are realistic if you're light on the throttle and help out by pedaling. If you're cruising on just the throttle with no pedaling, it'll be closer to around 15 miles per charge. I always recommend charging the battery every night if you're using it daily for commutes, and don't push it to the limit. Charging takes about 5.5 hours, so it's best to do it overnight or during the workday. The removable battery is one of my favorite features, because it means you don't need to haul the entire bike up to your apartment just to charge. Just take the battery off and bring it inside. Safety features don't get overlooked here. The Gotrax R1 is equipped with dual disc brakes, which give you strong stopping power even in wet conditions. And there's a bright front headlight and a rear brake light for riding at night or early mornings. I also appreciate the included bell. Sometimes it's the small touches that make the biggest difference. Maximum payload is 264 pounds, which comfortably handles me, a full backpack, and sometimes even groceries on the rear rack. And yes, it comes with both a sturdy luggage rack and fenders, so you can carry a little extra. And you won't get sprayed with water when it's wet outside. Something I was honestly a bit nervous about with any folding bike is the durability of the hinges and connections. I checked everything out closely, and I'll be real, the folding joints on the R1 lock down tight. There's no rattling or flex in the frame once it's locked in place. After my first ride, I stopped worrying about, is this gonna hold up? And started focusing on how much easier it is to get around town with an e-bike. This portable. I think Gotrax did a really good job here, making sure nothing feels flimsy. There are a few details that could be better. From my experience, the battery does drain faster if you're a heavier rider or using high power modes in steep hills, but that's pretty standard for most e-bikes in this price range. I'd recommend bringing your charger if you think you'll run out before the day's over. Also, while 20 miles per hour is fast enough for my daily needs and feels safe, some people might wish for a bit more speed. But personally, I think this is the sweet spot for urban use. One other thing to note is the rigid fork and lack of suspension. If you ride mostly on rough roads or gravel, you'll definitely feel those bumps, but again, for city or paved riding, it's not a big issue. Customer service is something to consider. I haven't had to use it yet, but I've read mixed reviews. For most people, I don't think it'll be a big deal, but it's worth knowing ahead of time. So, who is this bike for? In my opinion, it's perfect for anyone looking for an affordable, no-fuss electric bike for city life, campus, or even trips to the park. It fills that sweet spot between being practical and fun. The quick folding, manageable weight, and solid range fit my lifestyle really well, and I think it'll suit most commuters or folks who want a little boost on their daily rides. If you're new to e-bikes, you'll find it easy to get started, and if you're experienced, you'll appreciate how quickly you can get it set up or packed away. For me, the most impressive thing about the Gotrax R1 is how many key features you get in such a lightweight package. You get reliable brakes, a sturdy folding frame, good range, and the flexibility to ride with or without assistance. The simple controls and big screen mean you're not left guessing about your speed or battery life. It's the kind of e-bike that makes you want to ride more, and for someone who prefers getting around without a car, it just makes life easier. In conclusion, I'd recommend this for anyone wanting a compact, practical e-bike that doesn't sacrifice the basics: performance, comfort, and portability. It's not the most powerful or the fanciest bike on the market, but honestly, you get a lot for your money, and it fits into your everyday routine with no hassle. From my experience, the Gotrax R1 folding electric bike is a solid investment for commuting, leisure, or just exploring your city without the sweat. You can find detailed information about the Gotrax R1 20-inch folding electric bike in the comments section. See you in the next video.